Here's everything you might have missed in the What If finale. Welcome back to the final What If Wednesday, my dudes. The first season of Marvel's animated anthology series has taken us to many different worlds across the multiverse to spin yarns of unexpected super soldiers, sorcerers gone mad, and countless ways to show us Tony Stark and Earth's mightiest heroes dying in new and horrific ways. The finale, though, puts a bow on all these stories, weaving together the narrative threads of each one to cap off a season-long arc about the Watcher realizing that sometimes he needs to be the doer. And that's exactly what happens in What If the Watcher Broke His Oath. The Watcher does anything he can to stop the Infinity Stone-powered Ultron that we met back in Episode 8. What if Episode 9 wraps up loose ends, dangles Season 2 plot threads, and peppers in Easter eggs and references galore for Marvel fans? Now we're going to break everything down for you in just a moment, but in order to do so, we do need to spoil the What If finale. So if you accidentally opened this video or you woke up on the couch and autoplay's about to ruin your day, leave now before you see something that you probably shouldn't.
So, how are we going? Enjoy your...
We're in.
The episode begins with a good old-fashioned putting together a team montage, which thankfully goes a lot better than when MacGruber tried it. First, we see a riff on Captain America the Winter Soldier. Captain Carter briefs Black Widow, Brock Rumlow, and other members of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s strike team on their assault on the Lemurian Star. In the movie, Brock Rumlow, the undercover Hydra agent that would become Crossbones, was actually the one leading this briefing. Here, though, they're all taking orders from Peggy. Fun fact, Lemuria is also the name of the lost continent where the Deviants lived in the Eternals comics, but that's neither here nor there, because it sank into the ocean. Also of note, Peggy has a sleek new costume here, which is a lot subtler than her old World War II digs. Much like Natasha teased Steve about getting a date on a Saturday night, she does the same to Peggy here about Bernard and accounting, and of course her long-lost love.
What if his name was Steve? Ouch!
Peggy then leaps out of the aircraft without a parachute like Steve did and fights Batroc the Leaper, the foot-fighting Frenchman we last saw in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Peggy mentions that she's a pretty good dancer, a reference to her date with Steve Rogers from the first Avenger that never came to pass in this universe or in the MCU proper. Her fight is interrupted, though, by an unexpected guest, a giant cosmic sky baby, the Watcher. He's here to recruit Peggy for his brand new team.
You have been chosen.
Next, we pick up with Peter Quill being drained of his cosmic celestial energy at the Dairy Queen by Ego the Living Planet like we last saw in Episode 2. Star-Lord T'Challa appears on the scene, saves Peter, and immediately gets recruited for this new team by the Watcher.
You have been chosen.
After that, we see a new version of Tony Stark and Gamora at Eitri's Forge on Nidavellir. Now, you may recall that Nidavellir is one of the 9 realms, the dwarven homeworld located on a neutron star that we first saw mentioned in Thor the Dark World. It was also apparently where Avengers Age of Ultron's mid-credit scene of Thanos acquiring the Infinity Gauntlet took place, but how do you know that unless you read an interview with the Russo brothers? Anyway, we spend the most significant amount of time there with Thor, Rocket, and Groot in Avengers Infinity War. Here, though, we see Tony Stark in some brand spanking new Sicarian Hulkbuster armor, and a Gamora that survived the gladiator pits on Sakaar and apparently defeated the Mad Titan Thanos. Here, they're trying to melt down the Infinity Gauntlet because Tony didn't learn his Ultron lesson, and he wants to apply that same thinking not just to the world, but to the galaxy.
How do we put a suit of armor around the world? Around the galaxy?
And that's probably why he didn't get asked to join the team.
Not you, Stark.
With all of that said, it's just a little bit weird that we've never met this version of Gamora until right now.
Who's Gamora?
But she clearly has what it takes, and she gets asked to join the team as well.
Why is Gamora?
So, I don't know, maybe we'll see more of her in this Tony in Season 2, or maybe they're just trying to sell more cool toys, like that one Lego set. Only time will tell.
You, Gamora, have been chosen.
After that, we see Killmonger about to get his Killmuppants from Pepper, Shuri, and the Dora Milaje after he murdered his way into seizing control of Wakanda in Episode 6. But here he gets recruited before they can get their vengeance and he disappears.
You have been chosen.
He's followed by Thor fighting off Ultron sentry bots in Las Vegas, and the God of Thunder is so distracted with what he's doing, the Watcher literally has to yoink him out of that reality to recruit him.
You've been chosen.
Thor screams and screams as his reality melts around him until we find ourselves in a version of the bar where Peggy and Steve shared a drink before their fateful attack on Castle de Krek in Episode 1. There's even a framed photo of Steve Rogers on the wall behind the bar. Also behind the bar is Doctor Strange Supreme, who actually created this pub facade to put everybody at ease in this pocket dimension. Much like in Thor Ragnarok, Doctor Strange pours Thor a much-needed beer that seems to keep refilling itself as the scene goes on. We also see his sweet science tattoo that Thor drunkenly got with Jane Foster. In a moment foreshadowing his inevitable betrayal, Killmonger eyes the Ultron Sentry robot's head while the Watcher formally introduces us to this newly minted team.
You are the Guardians of the Multiverse.
That's right, folks, one of the worst kept secrets in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is confirmed at long last. We have an interdimensional counterpart to Earth's mightiest heroes, the Guardians of the Multiverse. Now, after finding transdimensional Chinese food, the team hatches a plan to separate Ultron from the Infinity Stones, giving him cosmic power, and to destroy them using a device that Gamora has dubbed the Infinity Crusher. They decide to lure Ultron to a universe largely devoid of intelligent life to stage the first part of their attack. We get a little bit of character development here as well, seeing how Doctor Strange Supreme is still having trouble controlling the magical creatures he's absorbed over the years. Gamora is distrustful of Killmonger, while Thor straight up trusts everyone. And Doctor Strange is apparently hot garbage at giving toasts.
That's me. You've done enough, Doctor.
Thankfully, T'Challa saves the day, and Thor does his classic move of spiking his drink like he did with his coffee cup back in 2011's Thor.
Another!
And what follows is the first part of this multi-stage boss fight against Robot California himself, Ultron. Doctor Strange shields everyone with a protection spell, and then the team is off to the races, distracting Ultron just long enough with unexpected Las Vegas battle cries and other unique moves, so T'Challa's sticky Ravager fingers can palm the Soul Stone. Easily the coolest combo move, though, is when Doctor Strange makes dozens of duplicate Mjolnirs, which Thor proceeds to have pummel the Murderbot every which way possible. As the team prepares to escape, Doctor Strange unleashes a final surprise attack on Ultron in the form of a portal dumping a metric ton of Marvel zombies on him, including what appears to be Captain America, Hawkeye, and the Falcon, just to name a few. Now, this is a terrific homage to the Age of Ultron vs. Marvel Zombies Secret Wars comics, which pits endless hordes of Marvel zombies against endless hordes of Ultron sentries. This time around, thankfully, the zombies and Ultron bots don't join forces because otherwise they might be a little in over their head. Kind of like Ant-Man.
Hey!
Now, as it turns out, Strange's real plan was to sick the zombified Scarlet Witch on Ultron that we first saw in Episode 5. Although she did some damage to Ultron, he ultimately detonates the planet they're on and chases our heroes into the ruins of what we initially thought was New York City in this homage to the Avengers Battle of New York. But as it turns out, it's actually Shibuya Crossing in Tokyo, as confirmed by the credits. And there we meet the Black Widow we first met in Episode 8, who's on the scene to yoink the Soul Stone from the Guardians of the Multiverse. But thankfully, Peggy wins her trust by invoking Natasha's real father, Ivan, who we heard Red Skull mention by name in Endgame, and her adoptive father, Alexei, the Red Guardian that we first met in the Black Widow movie. What follows is one of the most anime-esque battles in the series to date, with some killer moments like Doctor Strange absorbing Ultron's cosmic power, and there we see Kirby Crackle galore. For those who don't know, Kirby Crackle is a stylistic device of the legendary artist Jack Kirby. He used black dots and negative space to represent otherworldly energy and cosmic phenomena. We saw a lot of that in the Watcher vs. Ultron fight from the previous episode as well. Natasha and Peggy use the Red Guardian shield and Captain Carter shield respectively to pummel Ultron with Justice Frisbees, and then Gamora manages to slice Ultron in two using that same double-bladed sword that Thanos used in Avengers Endgame. But of course, Ultron's able to undo said damage and slow down time using the Time Stone, but Doctor Strange proves that two can play at this game. Using the Time Stone housed in his Eye of Agamotto, he speeds reality back up to normal. We then see a kaiju-sized Ultron battling Doctor Strange, who morphs into a massive tentacled murder monster, which is entirely too familiar to anyone who watches anime. We then get a nice mirror of the Avengers' iconic Battle of New York pose, and finally, after working together and unleashing attack after attack, Gamora retrieves the Soul Stone. And then she extracts the remaining Infinity Stones from Ultron, definitely destroying them and saving the day. Or did she?
It doesn't feel over.
Ultron confirms what we already learned on Loki.
Every universe is different, each one just a fraction unique. Thus, the Infinity Stones are unique.
Gamora's Infinity Crusher was only calibrated to work on the Infinity Stones of her universe. The ones in the Time Variant Authority on Loki didn't work, not because they're from the wrong timeline, but because whatever extra-dimensional space the TVA occupies is immune to their effects.
Oh, we actually got a lot of those. Some of the guys use them as paperweights.
In the wake of an Akira-level explosion, Natasha finds Hawkeye's USB arrow that has Arnim Zola's artificial intelligence uploaded onto it. Now, teaming up with Captain Carter, she manages to shoot Ultron through the eye and upload Zola into this robot body. Now, the wildest thing here is undoubtedly that in this universe, USB sticks go in properly the very first time you try to plug them in. What a world! What follows is an AI battle of epic proportions, kinda like when Vision deleted Ultron from the internet in Age of Ultron. Mostly though, it's a visual representation of Facebook's servers the other day. Unfortunately, things go from bad to worse when it's time for Killmonger's betrayal. Claiming the Infinity Stones for himself, Killmonger wants to use them to fix all of their respective universes, but mostly to position himself as some sort of god king in his world.
The Watcher owes us this.
Of course, Arnim Zola, newly freed from his dongle prison, has other ideas. We see Zola's face in Ultron's torso, a stomach face as Thor calls it, which is actually referencing his deeply silly appearance in the comics. Basically, imagine if like Krang from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Prince Robot IV from Saga had a very fascist baby. Somehow Zola manages to wrest the Infinity Stones from Killmonger's armor, and the two are locked in a final battle that has echoes of Shang-Chi versus Wenwu. Realizing what needs to happen, Doctor Strange sacrifices himself and traps Zola and Killmonger inside a crystalline pocket dimension like he was trapped in from episode 4 onward. Black Widow, Captain Carter, Gamora, T'Challa, and Thor are left standing in the ruins of Shibuya, and the Watcher then returns each of them to their respective universes at the exact moment they left. And while he can't offer Peggy her happy ending like Steve Rogers got in Avengers Endgame, he does give Black Widow a new lease on life by bringing her to a universe where their Natasha died. Honestly, it's kind of the least he can do after getting called out on his voyeuristic nonsense.
Tell me, did you make popcorn while Ultron murdered my friends and burned my world to the ground?
During a battle against Loki and the forces of Asgard on a S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier, Natasha saves the day by doing what Nick Fury, Captain Marvel, and Captain America could not, defeating Loki with a single kick to the face. Although Nick Fury knows this is a different Natasha Romanoff, he still welcomes her into the fold. We then see everybody else surviving and thriving, Peter Quill and T'Challa firing blasters side by side, Gamora reunited with Tony, and Thor getting his date with Jane Foster. As for Captain Carter, well, her ending comes in the form of a mid-credit scene. Did you watch it? Back on the Lemurian Star, they discover the ship is harboring some unexpected cargo, namely the Hydra Stomper mech suit from episode 1. And guess what? There's someone inside of it! And that someone is almost definitely Steve Rogers, but the real question is, has he gone the full Winter Soldier route, or is he really, really old, or, I don't know, is he still young? Do they have like a good cooling system in there? I have so many questions. Regardless, What If just set up a natural jumping off point for season 2?
I'll watch. I have nothing but time.
Anyway, folks, there you have it. That's everything we spotted in What If Episode 9. It's been a wild season full of harrowing hypotheticals, alternate universes, and some seriously dark episodes. I mean, guys, it was honestly nice to see the good guys emerge triumphant for a change without the requisite deep-seated psychic damage as well. As for what the future holds for What If, we'll be waiting with bated breath to see what's next for Marvel's animated anthology saga. In the meantime, though, we'll have plenty of other deep dives into the MCU's upcoming entries waiting for you over on Nerdist.com. For now, though, tell us, what did you think of the finale? Did you spot anything that we missed? And what was your favorite episode of the season, and why?
Your stories, they are everything to me.
Let us know in the comments below, and for the latest and greatest in the world of pop culture, stay tuned to Nerdist.com.